Welcome back to another story on Infidelity Tales Lab. Before we begin, tell us, where in the world are you watching from? Now, let's dive into today's story. Chapter 1. The Perfect Day. Marcus Chun had learned to trust his instincts in the courtroom, and right now, every instinct screamed that something was wrong. The 4th of July barbecue had been Rachel's idea. Their sprawling backyard in suburban Portland filled with relatives, the smell of grilled burgers mixing with chlorine from the pool. Marcus, a criminal defense attorney known for dismantling prosecutors' cases with surgical precision, had spent the morning manning the grill while his wife played the perfect hostess. Their daughter Emma, 3 years old with her mother's blonde hair and his dark eyes, had been playing on the wooden playground set Marcus built last summer. Their son Dylan, 8 and sharp as a tack, had been keeping an eye on her, something Marcus had always appreciated about his oldest kid. The boy was observant, almost unsettlingly so. Marcus was flipping burgers when he heard his brother-in-law Jake's voice cut through the party noise. "Oh my God, Emma." Everything slowed down. Marcus dropped the spatula and sprinted across the yard. Emma lay crumpled at the base of the 10-foot tower platform, not moving. Rachel was already there, screaming, but something about her performance felt rehearsed. No, he pushed the thought away. Not now. The hospital waiting room at Providence Portland Medical Center had that antiseptic smell that Marcus associated with bad news. Emma was in surgery, a fractured skull, broken arm, internal bleeding. The doctors said she'd been lucky. The mulch had absorbed some of the impact. Another few inches, and Marcus couldn't finish the thought. Rachel sat across from him, mascara streaked, playing the devastated mother perfectly. His own parents had come, his father Huang offering quiet support in that stoic way of his. Rachel's mother Linda hovered nearby, making calls, spreading the news through her social network like wildfire. Dylan sat next to Marcus, small and quiet. Too quiet. At 11 p.m., Dr. Reeves emerged. "She's stable. The surgery went well. We'll keep her sedated for the next 24 hours, but barring complications, she should recover fully." Rachel sobbed with relief. Marcus felt his knees buckle, and his father's hand steadied him. But when he looked at Dylan, his son wasn't looking at his mother with relief. He was studying her with something that looked like suspicion. 3 hours later, Marcus sat in a chair beside Emma's ICU bed, watching her small chest rise and fall beneath white blankets. Rachel had gone home to rest. His parents had taken Dylan to their place. The nurse came in to check vitals, and Marcus stepped into the hallway, phone in hand, ready to update the family group chat. That's when he saw Dylan walking toward him, alone. "Dad!" His son's voice was barely a whisper. "Dylan? What are you doing here?" "Grandpa, I told them I needed the bathroom." "Dad, we need to talk." Something in the boy's eyes made Marcus kneel down to his level. "What is it, buddy?" Dylan looked around, then leaned close. "Dad, do you know why Emma fell?" Marcus felt ice in his veins. "What do you mean? I saw what happened. I was right there." "Dylan, sometimes accidents. Mom did it." The world tilted. Marcus grabbed his son's shoulders, maybe too hard. "What?" "Dylan, that's not. I saw her, Dad. I was in the treehouse. Emma was playing on the platform, and Mom came up behind her. She looked around like checking if anyone was watching, and then she pushed her. Emma didn't fall. Mom pushed her." Chapter 2. The Witness. Marcus pulled Dylan into an empty family consultation room, his mind racing through possibilities, denials, legal precedents. Anything but accepting what his 8-year-old son had just told him. "Dylan, listen to me. This is serious. Are you absolutely certain about what you saw?" His son nodded, and Marcus saw something in those young eyes that no child should have: genuine fear. "I'm not lying, Dad. I know what I saw." Mom looked around, put both hands on Emma's back, and pushed. Emma didn't even know she was there. Marcus's stomach churned. His attorney brain kicked in, cross-examining his own son. "Where exactly were you?" "In the tree house. The one on the oak tree? I was reading my comic book by the window. I could see the whole playground." "And you're sure it wasn't an accident?" "Maybe your mom was trying to steady Emma and—" "Dad." Dylan's voice was firm. Mom looked around first, like when you check before doing something you're not supposed to do. Then she pushed her, hard, with both hands. Marcus felt his carefully constructed world crumbling. Rachel, his wife of 10 years. The woman he'd met at a charity gala, blonde and brilliant, a junior marketing executive with ambition that matched his own. They'd built a life together, a beautiful home, 2 kids, the appearance of perfection. But there had been cracks lately. Small things. Rachel's frustration when Emma needed attention. Her short temper. The way she'd been spending more time with her personal trainer, Craig, a development that had stirred jealousy Marcus thought he'd buried. And then there was the life insurance. 6 months ago, Rachel had suggested increasing the policies on both kids. Just to be responsible, she'd said. Marcus, busy with a high-profile murder case, had signed without really thinking about it. How much had she increased them to? He couldn't remember. Why didn't you say something at the party? Marcus asked. Dylan's eyes filled with tears. I was scared. Mom saw me in the tree house right after. She looked right at me. She knew I saw. Did she say anything to you? No. But Dad, the way she looked at me. I got scared. I didn't know what to do. And then everyone was screaming and the ambulance came and Dylan started crying. Is Emma going to be okay? Marcus pulled his son into a hug, but his mind was elsewhere. If Dylan was telling the truth, and his gut said the boy was, then Rachel had attempted to murder their daughter. The question was why, and what Marcus should do about it. He couldn't go to the police. Not yet. Not with just an 8-year-old's testimony against the word of a grieving mother. The optics were terrible. Rachel's family was influential. Her uncle was a state congressman. Her mother, Linda, ran one of Portland's biggest charity foundations. They destroy him in the press, paint him as a bitter husband trying to frame his innocent wife. And if Rachel even suspected that Dylan had talked, no, Marcus needed more. He needed evidence, motive, proof, and he needed to keep both his kids safe. Dylan, I need you to listen to me very carefully. Can you do that? His son nodded, wiping his eyes. You cannot tell anyone what you told me. Not Grandma, not Grandpa, not your friends. Especially not Mom. Do you understand? But I believe you. Okay, I believe you. But I need to handle this the right way, and that means we have to be smart. Can you trust me? Dylan looked uncertain, but nodded. What are you going to do? Good question, Marcus thought. What was he going to do? I'm going to find the truth, he said. And I'm going to protect you and Emma. I promise. Chapter 3. Beneath the Surface. At 3 a.m., Marcus sat in his home office, the house dark and empty. Rachel had texted that she was staying at her mother's, too upset to be in the house where it happened. Fine. That gave him time. He started with the life insurance. Logging into their joint financial accounts, Marcus pulled up the policies. His blood ran cold. Emma's policy had been increased from $100,000 to $1.5 million. Dylan's had been bumped from $100,000 to $750,000. The difference in amounts was telling. Emma had been the primary target. But why? Marcus opened Rachel's laptop. They'd always known each other's passwords, a sign of trust he now recognized as foolish. He started digging through her emails, her files, her browser history. What he found made him sick. Rachel had been having an affair with Craig Winters, her personal trainer, for 8 months. The emails were explicit, filled with plans for a future together. But Craig had problems. He was 28, broke, and apparently deep in gambling debt to some dangerous people. In one email from 2 weeks ago, Rachel had written, "Don't worry, baby. I'm handling it. By August, we'll have everything we need to start over. Trust me. By August." 1 month away. Marcus kept digging. He found searches in Rachel's browser history. How long does child death investigation take? Life insurance payout timeline accidental death. Can husband contest life insurance if wife is beneficiary? She'd also been researching divorce lawyers, but had apparently decided against that route. Too expensive, too messy, and she'd likely lose custody and face steep alimony payments. Marcus made significantly more than her, close to $400,000 a year from his law practice. No, divorce wasn't Rachel's style. She wanted everything: the house, the money, the sympathetic widow narrative. And apparently, she was willing to kill for it. Marcus's phone buzzed. A text from his brother-in-law, Jake. "Hey man, just checking in. Rachel seems really shaken up. Linda's worried about her. You holding up okay?" "Jake, Decent guy, married to Rachel's sister Melissa. Marcus had always liked him, but could he trust him? Could he trust anyone in Rachel's family? He needed allies. Real ones. Marcus picked up his phone and dialed a number he'd kept from his early days as a public defender. Whoever this is, it's 3 in the fucking morning, came a gravelly voice. Det, it's Marcus, Chun. A pause. Chun? Jesus. Haven't heard from you in what, 5 years? Since the Kowalski case. Detective Raymond Booker, Det to friends, had been Marcus's contact in the Portland PD when Marcus was building his reputation. They'd butted heads on cases, but developed mutual respect. Det had retired 2 years ago, started doing private investigation work. I need your help, Marcus said, and I need absolute discretion. That's serious? My wife just tried to kill our daughter. Another pause, longer this time. I'm listening. Marcus laid it out. The fall, Dylan's testimony, the life insurance, the affair, everything. Det listened without interrupting, a skill that came from 25 years of detective work. You need evidence that'll hold up, Det said when Marcus finished. Kid's testimony is a start, but with the family's connections and your wife's public image, you'll need more. Way more. I know. That's why I'm calling you. Okay. First, that playground. Did anyone else see anything? Not that I know of. The adults were all by the pool and grill area. Security cameras? Nothing that covers that corner of the yard. What about the house? Internal cameras? Marcus's mind raced. They had a security system with cameras covering the front door, back door, and driveway. But, wait, the doorbell camera. It has a wide angle. Might catch the edge of the playground. Check that footage. Now, before it gets accidentally deleted. Marcus was already moving, pulling up the app on his phone. The Ring doorbell had a 160-degree view. He scrubbed through the footage from yesterday, around the time of the incident. There, in the far corner of the frame, grainy but visible, the playground. Emma on the platform, and then a figure in a blue sundress. Rachel had been wearing blue yesterday. The figure climbed up behind Emma, looked around, then the angle wasn't perfect, but Marcus could see arms extend, Emma pitch forward, and the figure quickly descend and move out of frame. I've got something, Marcus breathed. It's not crystal clear, but it's there. Download it. Save it 3 different places. Cloud, external drive, send it to a trusted email. Do it now. Marcus did, his hands shaking. Done. Good. Now here's what we're going to do. Chapter 4, The Investigation. Marcus spent the next 3 days playing the concerned father while building his case. Emma woke up on day 2, confused but alive. Her recovery would take months, but she was going to make it. Rachel played the doting mother, barely leaving Emma's bedside, except when Marcus was there, taking breaks that Marcus suspected involved phone calls to Craig. That worked fast. Within 48 hours, he had Craig Winters under surveillance and had pulled his financial records through connections Marcus didn't ask about. The gambling debt was real, $85,000 owed to an outfit connected to the Volkov crime family's Portland operations. Craig had been making monthly payments, but they wanted the principal, and they wanted it now. Your wife's boy toy has been getting threats. Det reported over coffee at a diner far from Marcus's usual haunts. He's desperate, which makes him dangerous and potentially useful. Useful how? Leverage. If we can flip him, get him to testify that Rachel planned this, we got her cold. Marcus shook his head. He's in love with her. He won't turn. Everyone turns when their options narrow enough. Trust me. Det also dug into Rachel's past, and what he found was illuminating. Before Marcus, Rachel had been engaged to a man named Trevor Mills. The engagement ended suddenly when Trevor broke it off, citing Rachel's obsessive behavior. Det had tracked Trevor down. He now lived in Seattle, happily married. Guy wouldn't talk much at first, Det said. But when I mentioned what happened to your daughter, he opened up. Said Rachel had a mean streak, that she destroyed his car after the breakup and tried to get him fired from his job. He also said she'd once mentioned, during an argument, that accidents can happen to anyone. Gave him chills at the time. Marcus felt his jaw tighten. Can he testify to that? Maybe. But here's the thing. We need to be strategic about when we reveal what we know. If Rachel catches wind that we're onto her, She might run. Or worse. Exactly. So we play this smart. What's Emma's recovery timeline? Another week in a hospital, then home. She'll need months of physical therapy. And your son? Dylan's staying with my parents. Rachel wanted him back home, but I convinced her he'd be too traumatized seeing Emma's empty room. Good thinking. Keep him safe. Det leaned forward. Here's my recommendation. We gather everything. Every piece of evidence. Every witness statement. We document Rachel's affair in detail. We get Craig's financial records showing his debts. And then we set a trap. What kind of trap? The kind where Rachel reveals herself. Because here's the thing. She thinks she got away with it. She thinks you're the grieving father buying her performance. Confident people make mistakes. Marcus considered this. His entire career had been built on anticipating moves, on setting traps and cross-examination that witnesses walked right into. He could do this. What do you need from me? Det smiled, and it wasn't a friendly expression. Everything about Rachel's routine, her contacts, her vulnerabilities. And Shun, you need to be ready for what comes next. This won't be clean. I don't care about clean anymore, Marcus said. I care about justice. Chapter 5. The Pieces Move. 2 weeks after the fall, life had settled into a new rhythm. Emma was home, in a wheelchair, but smiling more each day. Rachel had taken a leave of absence from her marketing job, playing the devoted mother, while Marcus noticed she spent an awful lot of time texting when she thought he wasn't looking. Marcus had become an expert at the long game. Every day, he acted the part of the understanding husband. He even suggested marriage counseling to help us process the trauma together. Rachel had agreed, perhaps seeing it as another opportunity to cement her innocent image. Behind the scenes, Det's investigation expanded. He'd recruited another former cop, a woman named Angela Torres who specialized in tech forensics. She'd pulled data from Rachel's phone, backed up to the cloud, that showed the full extent of the affair and, more damningly, searches for how to stage child's accidental death dating back 3 months. Marcus also reached out to an old colleague, Sarah Wong, a family law attorney who had her own reasons to despise Rachel. Years ago, Rachel had spread rumors about Sarah at a charity event, nearly costing her a partnership at her firm. When Marcus explained the situation in vague terms, needing to protect his kids from their mother, Sarah had been immediately on board. When you're ready to file for custody, Sarah said over a secure call, I'll bury her, but you'll need ironclad evidence. We're working on it. Good. Because guys in custody battles start from behind. Marcus, even with evidence, you'll face skepticism. We need overwhelming proof. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Jake, Rachel's brother-in-law. Marcus had invited Jake to lunch, ostensibly to thank him for his support during the crisis. But as they ate, Marcus carefully probed, asking about Rachel's state of mind, whether Jake had noticed anything unusual. Jake hesitated, then said, Look, man, I probably shouldn't say anything. Jake, if there's something I should know, it's just, Melissa and I had Rachel and Craig over for dinner last month. You were working late on that case. And I don't want to start rumors, but the way they looked at each other, I told Melissa we shouldn't have Craig around without you there. Did Melissa say anything to Rachel? She tried. But Rachel blew up, said Melissa was being paranoid. They haven't really talked since. Jake looked genuinely uncomfortable. I like you, Marcus. You're good people. I hope I'm wrong about what I think I saw. Marcus made a decision. Jake, can I trust you? Really trust you? Of course. Rachel pushed Emma off that playground. Dylan saw it happen. Jake's face went white. What? I have evidence. I'm building a case. But I need to know, if this comes down to family taking sides, where do you stand? Jake was quiet for a long moment. Jesus. I believe you. I do. Melissa's been saying something's been off with Rachel for years, but family is complicated. I need allies, Jake. People who will stand up and tell the truth when the time comes. I'll talk to Melissa. She'll be devastated, but she'll do the right thing. Jake shook his head. Does Linda know? Rachel's mother. The matriarch. The woman with all the connections. Not yet. And she can't know until I'm ready to move. Linda will protect Rachel no matter what. You know that, right? Marcus nodded. which is why timing is everything. Chapter 6. The Trap Springs. 3 weeks after the fall, Marcus made his move. He'd set it up perfectly with Det and Angela's help. They'd created a fake email account in Craig's name and sent messages to Rachel suggesting they meet somewhere private, a cabin in the Columbia River Gorge that Craig had mentioned in their correspondence. The email claimed he'd found a solution to his debt problem and needed her help with one last step. Rachel took the bait immediately, telling Marcus she needed to visit a friend who was going through a rough time. "Would you be okay with Emma for the afternoon?" "Of course," Marcus said, playing the supportive husband. "Take all the time you need." What Rachel didn't know was that Det had bugged her car and Angela had cloned her phone. They'd hear every word, see every text. Meanwhile, Marcus had his own plan. He invited Linda, Rachel's mother, over for dinner, along with Uncle Richard the congressman. A family gathering, he'd called it. Linda had been surprised but pleased, assuming Marcus wanted to strengthen family bonds after the trauma. Det and Angela waited in Marcus's home office, monitoring feeds. Sarah Wong was on standby, and Dylan, safely at Marcus's parents' house, was the key witness they'd protect at all costs. When Linda and Richard arrived, Marcus served wine and made small talk. Then, as casually as possible, he said, "Actually, there's something I need to show you both. It's about the accident." Linda's smile flickered. "Marcus, dear, I don't think we should dwell on. It wasn't an accident." Marcus opened his laptop, turning the screen toward them. "This is footage from our doorbell camera. Watch the right side of the frame." He played the video. Once, then again. Linda's face drained of color. Richard leaned forward, squinting. That's Rachel," Richard said slowly. "Is she?" Pushing Emma off the platform. "Yes." "This is absurd." Linda stood, voice shaking. "You can't possibly be suggesting." "I'm not suggesting. I'm stating. Rachel attempted to murder our daughter. I have this footage, I have Dylan's eyewitness testimony, and I have evidence of motive." Marcus pulled out printed documents, the life insurance policies, excerpt from Rachel's emails to Craig, her search history. Dylan also saw. He never said. Linda looked genuinely shaken now, because he was terrified. Rachel saw him witness it. What do you think she might have done if he'd told? Richard picked up the documents, reading through them with the careful attention of a politician who understood evidence. His expression darkened. "Linda, if this is true." "It's not. It can't be." "Rachel would never." "Mom would never what?" They all turned. Rachel stood in the doorway, her face a mask of shock that almost looked genuine. "Marcus, what's going on? Why are Mom and Uncle Richard here? And what is all this?" "You're supposed to be at the cabin," Marcus said calmly. Rachel blinked. "What cabin?" "Marcus, what are you talking about?" "The cabin Craig told you about. For your meeting." "I don't know what you—" Rachel stopped, understanding dawning. "Are you spying on me?" "I'm protecting our children." Marcus stood. "I know everything, Rachel. The affair, the debt, the plan. Emma was supposed to die so you could collect the insurance money and run off with your boyfriend." "That's insane." Rachel's voice rose, but Marcus saw panic in her eyes. "Mom, Uncle Richard, you can't believe this." Linda looked torn, but Richard's political instincts had kicked in. He was already calculating damage control. "Rachel, if there's any truth to what Marcus is saying, you need to come clean now. For your own sake. There's no truth to it. He's trying to frame me. He's been acting strange for weeks, paranoid, controlling." "I have footage," Marcus said quietly. "I have your search history, your emails, your text messages, and I have our son's testimony. How exactly am I framing you?" Rachel's mask cracked. Her face twisted into something ugly. "Dylan, that little—" She stopped herself, but too late. "That little what?" Marcus prompted. "Witness? The son you were planning to kill next once the first insurance payout cleared." "I want a lawyer," Rachel said suddenly. "I'm not saying another word." "Good idea," Det said, walking in from the office, badge from his retirement still in hand for effect. "Because you're going to need one." Chapter 7. The Confrontation. The next hour was chaos. Rachel lunged for the laptop, trying to destroy the evidence, but Det blocked her. Linda screamed that Marcus was destroying the family. Richard made phone calls, already distancing himself from the scandal that was about to break. And through it all, Marcus remained calm. This was his courtroom, his cross-examination, and he'd rehearsed every move. "You can't prove anything," Rachel hissed. "That video is grainy. Dylan's a child. A good attorney will shred your case." "Maybe," Marcus said. "But here's the thing. I don't need a criminal conviction to destroy you. I just need enough for the custody case. And Sarah Wong, the attorney you tried to ruin 5 years ago, is very much looking forward to representing me." Rachel paled. "Marcus, please. We can work this out. I made mistakes, I was confused, but I never meant—" "Stop." Marcus's voice cut like a blade. "I've watched you perform for weeks. I know what you are, and you're not walking away from this." Linda tried one more time. "Marcus, think about the children. Do you want them growing up knowing their mother is in prison? Think about Emma." "I am thinking about Emma." Marcus's composure cracked slightly. "Emma, who could have died, who spent hours in surgery, who'll have scars for the rest of her life. And I'm thinking about Dylan, who has nightmares now because he watched his mother try to murder his sister." The room went silent. "Here's what's going to happen," Marcus continued, back in control. "Rachel, you're going to leave this house tonight. You're going to move in with your mother. I'm filing for divorce tomorrow, and for full custody with a restraining order. If you fight it, every piece of evidence I have goes public. The affair, the insurance fraud, the attempted murder, all of it." "You wouldn't," Rachel said. "The scandal would hurt the kids. Less than having a murderer for a mother." "Try me." Det stepped forward. "There's also the matter of my friend Craig Winters. You might want to know, he got picked up by the Volkov organization 2 hours ago. He's very motivated to cooperate with authorities right now in exchange for protection." Rachel's face went ashen. "You set me up. All of it. The email, the cabin. You set yourself up," Marcus said. "I just gave you enough rope." Richard cleared his throat. "Rachel, listen to me carefully. You need to take Marcus's offer. If this goes public, I can't protect you. The family can't protect you. You'll be destroyed. So that's it." Rachel looked around wildly. "You're all just going to turn on me? You turned on yourself when you hurt that little girl," Det said quietly. Linda was crying now, but Marcus felt no sympathy. This woman had raised a monster and was only upset because the monster's mask had slipped. "I'll give you one more option," Marcus said. "Sign away custody voluntarily. Agree to supervised visitation only. Keep the affair and debts quiet, and I won't push for criminal charges. You get to walk away damaged, but not destroyed. And if I refuse, then I make it my life's mission to see you in prison for attempted murder. I'm very good at my job, Rachel. You know that. And now I'm motivated." Rachel looked at her mother, her uncle, seeing no help coming. Finally, she looked back at Marcus with pure hatred. "Fine, I'll sign your papers. But this isn't over." "Yes," Marcus said. "It is." Chapter 8, The Reckoning. The fallout was immediate and brutal. Rachel signed the custody papers within 48 hours, under the watchful eyes of Sarah Wong and Linda's own attorney. The restraining order went into effect immediately. Rachel couldn't come within 500 feet of either child. Craig Winters, true to Det's prediction, flipped completely. In exchange for witness protection and help with his debts, he provided a detailed statement about his relationship with Rachel, including conversations where she'd explicitly discussed solving all their problems once the insurance paid out. He'd thought she meant divorce. The truth had horrified him. Linda tried to salvage what she could, but Richard cut all ties publicly, releasing a statement condemning his niece's actions and supporting Marcus's custody decision. Political survival trumped family loyalty. Marcus granted Rachel one supervised visit with Emma and Dylan, monitored by a court-appointed official. Watching through a one-way mirror as Rachel tried to play the loving mother, Marcus felt nothing but cold satisfaction. Emma, still recovering, seemed confused but not traumatized by her mother's presence. Dylan wouldn't look at Rachel at all. "I'm sorry." Rachel tried at one point, reaching for Dylan's hand. "I'm sorry you had to see." "Don't talk to me," Dylan said quietly. It was the most adult thing Marcus had ever heard his son say. After the visit, Marcus took both kids for ice cream. Emma chattered about her physical therapy and a show she liked. Dylan was quieter, but as they drove home, he said, "Dad, did I do the right thing?" Telling you? Marcus pulled over, turning to look at his son. You saved your sister's life, and probably your own. You did the bravest thing I've ever seen. Some kids at school say I got mom in trouble, that I shouldn't have told. Those kids don't understand what you saw. What mom did. You protected your family. Never doubt that. Dylan nodded, and some of the weight seemed to lift from his young shoulders. The divorce finalized in record time. 3 months. Expedited due to the criminal nature of Rachel's actions and her own desire to escape further public exposure. Rachel took her maiden name back, moved to Sacramento to live with a cousin, and was barred from contacting the children except through supervised visits she rarely requested. The life insurance policies were canceled and reported to the authorities. No charges were ultimately filed. The DA's office said the evidence was strong, but not quite enough for a jury, and Rachel's departure from Oregon eliminated the immediate threat. Marcus suspected Richard had made some calls, protecting the family name one last time. But Marcus had never cared about criminal charges. He'd cared about protecting his kids. Chapter 9. New Foundations. 6 months later, Marcus stood in his backyard, watching Emma play on a new, lower playground set he'd built with deliberate care. Every bolt was secure. Every surface was padded. She'd never be in danger here again. Dylan sat on the deck, doing homework, but occasionally glanced up to check on his sister. That protective instinct had strengthened after everything, and Marcus both admired and worried about it. 8 was too young to carry that weight. Hey, buddy. Marcus sat down next to him. How's the math? Fine. Dylan put down his pencil. Dad, can I ask you something? Always. Do you think Mom ever loved us? Really? It was the question Marcus had dreaded. He could lie, make it easier, but Dylan deserved the truth. I think Mom loved the idea of us. The perfect family, the image we presented. But real love means putting others first, protecting them, sacrificing for them. Mom only knew how to love herself. Dylan processed this. Do you think she wanted to hurt Emma? Or just the money? Honestly, I think she convinced herself the money was more important than Emma's life. That's how bad people justify bad things. Are you glad she's gone? Yes, Marcus said simply. Not because I hate her, but because you and Emma are safe. And that's all that matters to me. Emma ran over, her cast recently removed, but still favoring one leg. Daddy, watch me go down the slide. They watched her climb carefully and slide down with a shriek of delight. She'd have scars, physical and likely psychological, but she was alive. She was safe. Det called later that evening while Marcus was making dinner. Thought you'd want to know. Rachel lost her job in Sacramento. Word got around about what she did. She's working retail now. Good, Marcus said without hesitation. You're cold, Shun. I like it. I'm practical. She tried to kill my daughter. She deserves worse than retail work. Fair. How are the kids? Marcus looked at Dylan reading in the living room, Emma coloring on the floor beside him. They're good. We're good. You did right by them. Not every father would have had the stones to do what you did. Not every father has to discover his wife is a murderer. True. Listen, I'm sending you my final invoice, but I wanted to say, if you ever need anything, you call. Those kids deserve someone looking out for them. Thanks, detective, for everything. After dinner, Marcus tucked Emma into bed, reading her favorite story about a princess who saved herself. Then he checked on Dylan, who was still awake, staring at the ceiling. Can't sleep? Marcus sat on the edge of the bed, just thinking about how different everything is now. Like, we used to be one kind of family, and now we're a different kind. Is that bad? Dylan considered. No, different isn't bad. Just different. He looked at Marcus. You're better now, Dad. Before, you were busy all the time. Now you're here. Marcus felt that hit hard. You're right. I was too busy, too focused on work, on providing. I missed what was happening in my own house. But you figured it out, and you stopped her. Dylan's voice was firm. You're a good dad. I'm trying to be better. You are better. Later, after Dylan had fallen asleep, Marcus sat on his deck with a beer, looking at the stars. His phone buzzed, a text from Sarah Wong. Rachel's attorney filed for modification of custody. Wants unsupervised visitation. Marcus typed back, no, not now, not ever. That's why I told them. Just wanted you to know she's still trying. Marcus deleted the text chain and blocked the number. Rachel was his past. His kids were his future. He thought about everything that had led to this moment. The party, the fall, Dylan's courage, Deb's investigation, the confrontation. Every decision had been calculated, every move strategic. He'd played the game better than Rachel had, and he'd won. But the victory didn't feel triumphant. It felt necessary. Marcus had learned that monsters don't always announce themselves. Sometimes they sleep beside you, play with your children, smile at your jokes. Sometimes they were the face of someone you loved. But he'd also learned that strength wasn't just physical. It was the strength to believe your child when they told a horrible truth. The strength to investigate, to plan, to act. The strength to protect what mattered most. Inside the house, Dylan called out in his sleep, just a murmur, nothing alarming. Marcus got up and checked both kids, adjusting blankets and nightlights. Emma clutched her stuffed rabbit. Dylan had his comic book still in hand. Safe. Both of them. And they'd stay that way. Because Marcus Chun, criminal defense attorney and single father, had learned the most important lesson of his life. That the courtroom he'd been trained for his entire career was nothing compared to the battlefield of protecting his family. And on that battlefield, he'd shown no mercy. He'd shown strength. And he'd won. And there you have it. Another story comes to an end. What did you think? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy this story, consider joining our community by subscribing. It means the world to us. For more stories like this one, check out the recommended videos on screen. And I'll see you there.